conversation with the other day, and we were talking, and I was saying about different types of offers, right? And I'd say probably my most successful client had an offer around anxiety. And I told the person who also ironically has an offer around anxiety that it's harder to sell an anxiety offer. It's harder on the call, right? And then after we were talking, and I was like, well, he says, well, it's easy to sell a business offer than an anxiety offer, right? So then there's almost like a mismatch. Okay. So first of all, let me tell you the difference is when you're selling an anxiety offer, the person on the call is totally different, right? So the questions are different. The level of pain and deepness you have to go different. Usually people that have anxiety or depression, it's harder for them to make decisions, right? Some of the people that on the calls I listened to, they weren't even able to leave the house and they were in constant fear. So anyone that is in constant fear, extreme anxiety, it's hard for them to make any decision, right? To leave the house, to get something, what to eat. Like, so it's a deeper thing, right? And then also the levels of pain and an anxiety offer, even though the things sound horrible, you have to go deeper, believe it or not, than a business offer. You don't have to go to that same level, right? So on some sense, it's different on the call. It is challenging because you have to do a thing with people more so with an anxiety offer. One of the things I'll do another video on this, but it's called splitting the identity, and to get them to actually make the decision, right? So it is challenging, right? But the problem with saying that if you have a health offer or a fitness offer or whatever it is, or a non-business offer, that it's easier to sell a business offer, right? People think that because logically it makes sense, right? Because, well, if I charge $15,000 and they're going to make $150,000, it's a no-brainer, right? But if I charge $15,000 and they're just going to be healthy, like they don't make the money back, right? So that's where they're coming from, and I get that. I look at it totally different. First of all, I got a great line from Jesse Elder a long time ago. And he said, it's not I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but what I took from it is, it's not so much important what's really true, is it useful, right? The truth is you could have been abused severely, right? And that's true. And if you think about that all the time, it's not going to be very useful for you. I mean, you have to go through it and heal and all that stuff. But if you're just focusing on certain things that are true, they're just not useful, right? So I come up from that frame, and I look at it like this, right? Like there are people, and ironically, the lady who I helped with the anxiety offer, who went from like a 3% enrollment rate to a 60% enrollment rate, she is working with like high-end clients now. These are people who are financially successful. They've achieved everything they thought they wanted in their life. They can buy anything they want, and yet they're still not fulfilled. Right? So the money isn't making them happy, isn't completing them. When we don't have what we want, we think that, okay, when I get here, then I'll be successful, then I'll be happy. Unfortunately, the bar keeps moving and it never ends. And if I call it chasing the dragon. You're just chasing the dragon, right? So the way I look at it, what's more useful, if I have a health offer, I am going to adopt this belief, whether it's true or not, okay? That you can have all the money in the world and your problem's not going to go away. All the money in the world. These people with anxiety, they could be millionaires or they could be completely broke. It's irrelevant. In fact, most of them are going to be broke because the anxiety is so crippling and deep. And that's where you have to cascade the pain in all the areas of their life. Where is the anxiety showing up in their relationships, in their business, and everything, and go down all that? Of course you don't have any money. How could you? You can't even leave the house, right? So like that's the way you're thinking. And then the business offer, like I get it. If you have I have a 10x guarantee that I guarantee you 10x your investment and enroll 40%, right? I guarantee that. And that's probably easier up front when you see that. Oh, wow, that's like a tangible thing where it's hard to say that you're going to be able to leave the house and stuff like that. So I get it. There is truth to that. But the fact of the matter is you can have all the money in the world and you still can't leave your house and anxiety. And money is useless, right? If you're dead and you're not alive, what good is money? So I would challenge you guys and girls to shift your mindset. If you have a health offer, Like there's nothing that you can't buy it. You can't just pay money and the problem goes away, right? I need to drop about 60, 70, 80 pounds. I would love to pay money and just have it be gone. Oh, sure. I'll give you 15,000 right now and to be that weight. But you know what? It doesn't work like that. So you can't just pay it. So you need to, when you find someone, like you're the professional, right? And you have to really believe this. I sent this to a message to someone today that they didn't continue on with the call because the person was like, I don't remember. I did a video a couple of days ago, check back. Like if they watched the webinar, they didn't remember it. I don't know, who are you? What do you do? And I said, I wouldn't even take the call. Well, this person watched the video and listened and said, it's useless trying to convince somebody or sell someone that doesn't even know who the heck I am. So he ended the call, which is fantastic, and told them to watch the video. And if you liked it, whatever, then book a call again. And I'll be happy to talk to you, which was fantastic. I love people that do stuff like that listen, right? Because you're going to have to try to convince this person the whole call. It's never going to, you're never going to enroll them, right? So that one little thing he added to his business is going to reduce his calls that are going to end in no, right? It's going to start giving him more confidence to really own his power, which is fantastic. And hopefully I need to get him to raise his prices a lot. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So ADHD kicking in. So thinking of the people, right? That you're the prize, right? That there's only one of you and there's 7 billion people on the planet that can buy from you, right? And without you, their life is seriously going to keep just getting worse and worse, and they're going to have more bullshit stories, right? So I have a saying when I talk to my clients, and I call it shift or die. The clients have to shift on the call, have that mindset shift, or they're going to die, right? They're going to die like empty. They're going to die, being the victim still, blaming everyone else. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind, that you get to choose what you want to believe. It's really a beautiful thing, right? And I choose, if I talk to someone who is completely broke, who could be homeless, I choose to believe that if they don't enroll, I never say they didn't have the money, they were homeless, they weren't a good fit. Even if that is true, what's useful? I say, damn, why couldn't I get them to see, to reach out to that rich uncle that they don't want to reach out to? Or why couldn't I get them to get to really realize what was going on? I couldn't hold the mirror up. I couldn't get them to see it, right? Because I can control that. I can't control what other people do, right? There's going to be times on your calls where you're going to do everything right, and they're not going to sign up. And there's going to be times where you mess a lot of stuff up and they're going to sign up. It's okay. But the thing is, for me, how I feel if I'm successful in that, it's irregardless if someone signs up, right? I think that's one of the first keys as a coach. We have to learn to be outcome independent. And it's really about the person you're talking to, right? We're not trying to solve their problems. We're trying to find the problems, right? The deep problems. And I think if you do everything right, I mean, I've had calls before where people get pissed at me for holding up the mirror. And you have to realize that not everyone is going to like what they see. They've spent their whole life, the last 20, 30 years, pushing stuff down, trying not to feel that, trying not to see that, trying to make that not true, right? So when you expose that, people can react different ways. Some people were like, holy shit, I need to do something about this now. Right? When you have someone that that's why for me, like one of my beliefs is I assume no one has the money. It's not a big deal. Like I just assume everyone's broke. Right? And is that negative? You're projecting that? No, I'm going to assume that there's going to be, of course they don't have money because they're struggling with this big problem. And if you do it on the call, of course you're not going to have money. Why would you have money? If you had money, you probably wouldn't have this problem because the money is not the money is the symptom. The lack of money is the symptom from the real problem. And the real problem is what they need help with you from, right? So you can't get the money doesn't come first and then the problem, goes away. The money is the problem the money is the symptom because of the problem. You might have to rewind that one a couple of times. I even confused myself, but I think it's clear. So bottom line is we get to choose what we want to believe. Right? And I choose to believe things that empower me and empower others. As soon as we blame, this is why, then we give our power away. right? The only thing we can control is ourselves. So I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to sell anybody, right? I'm trying to be me, right? Be me and bring the truth to them. Make them aware by asking them questions. Telling's not selling. You could tell them all day long that this is what's wrong, this, and this. And some people do. They'll, like, a lot of clients have come to me and they'll say, so, would you say that, if it's a fitness thing, let's just say, would you say you want to put on muscle, lose fat, or a combination of the two? And I don't like those lines. I don't like it. So is it bad like this? Is it all like this? You're not making the power and the transformation comes from when they make the picture, right? So ask an open-ended question. Make them go through and think about it and be quiet. Let them process that. Sometimes coaches will jump in because that awkward silence, but they're actually making pictures and you destroy it. So anyway, you have control of what you want to believe in. So what do I think is easier, a business offer or a health offer? Whichever one you're selling. Whichever one you're selling. If you're selling a health offer, I think a health offer is easy because money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you anything, right? If money could have solved your problem, you would have already solved it by now. Right? And think about it. Like, how much money is it really costing them to have that issue, right? How would they show up in their life when you're doing the future and building the big future, what they want? Okay, let's just say you're at that ideal weight. Let's just say you're anxiety free. What would that allow you to do? And this is where you got to get them to stretch that, because especially with anxiety offers and people have been so long in that little bubble, they can't even think about what's possible, right? So that's why I always say the deeper you can go down into the true pain, or the truth, I call it, not even pain, but what's really underneath everything, the deeper down you can go, the higher up you can go, and you can stretch that gap, right? But the problem is if they can't even vision it, you're only going down like this, like surface level, you're going down this much, then you're only going to be able to go up this much, and the gap's not going to be big. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay. It's not worth it. Your offer is not worth $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 if the gap's like this. But if you can really show them where they're at, and it's like down here, can't even do it on the camera, down here, and then it's way up here, jeepers, then you're like, holy cow, that's like a huge gap. And now they're going to say, wow, the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change. And that's when they enroll. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Today is Saturday. I'm going to go we're going to do some family time, go out. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I do have a thing coming up I'm going to talk about next week. A beta program I'm going to do with only a handful of people. And keep your eyes open for that and your ears. All right, guys, take care.